ticket, you don't come back until you make it, and we'll just put it on the credit card. They said if you shave your head and you're in Chicago by Wednesday, the role is yours. It was a straight offer. They wanted me to play Torres. I remember meeting Jason and said, what's your name, kid? And I told him, and he said, I'm gonna remember you. I told my mom, I was like, Ma, I don't know what to do. You like movies, we always watch movies, so why don't you just do that? I just had this moment where I couldn't contain like my emotions because I was like, this is so surreal.
Do you feel like you're becoming serious competition for Leroy's for the sexiest cop award next year? And what will it take to get you there?
I think Leroy should watch out for this season because I'm gonna bring some fire.
Hi, I'm Brian Luce, and this is the One Chicago podcast. Today I'm joined by my good friend Benjamin Levy Aguilar. Boy, that's fun to say. Am I saying it right? You say it because it's sexy.
Levy Aguilar.
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 I love it. Otherwise known as Torres, Officer Torres, on the show Chicago P.D. Torres, you joined us season 9, but not really, right?
Yeah, not really. Not really.
I remember the first time I looked at you, I'm like, okay, who is this beautiful man? I'm going to have to train him. Please, God, let him be able to hold a gun or at least be able to point it. You know, there's a lot of people that come on and have no idea. And I was like, in 2 minutes, I realized, I think I nicknamed you the Leopard because you were quick, right? And you're pounce and you were awesome. I didn't know, but you were trained in
Krav Maga.
Yeah, that's a hard word to say, which is Israeli type training, which ended up being a problem. I mean, you were a good fighter, you great with the gun, you knew everything. But do you remember what the one problem I had with you because you were trained that way?
I wasn't bladed, right? And I was,
no, you were perfectly bladed.
Oh, I was.
What did you do with your gun before you would point it at an offender?
Oh yeah, I would rack it.
You would rack the slide.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So for people out there that don't know what that means is when you pull your weapon, there's not one in the pipe, as they call it. You'd have to rack the slide to get a bullet in the chamber. So because he was trained and repetitively trained and so good at it, he was so quick that every time we were filming, Mr. Torres would pull his gun, quickly rack his slide, and I'd be like, Benny, we don't do that, Ben. Cut for a second, please. And poor Benny had to be untrained. You had to be untrained how to do it. You told me this beautiful story. You were an extra, and you had to sit like all the other extras across Hollywood, and you were just another number. And you told me one day they picked you to be a boxer. What was that show?
Oh, that was like a short film that I did.
A short film.
Yeah.
And all the extras.
Oh, yeah, my first
tell
show.
That little story?
Yeah, well, that was like, it was crazy because I came to LA, you know, this Hollywood thing. I'm like, it's an invisible Hollywood, right? That you don't know where it starts or how to go in because it doesn't exist, you know. Right. It's just this like thing. And after being an extra for so long and working, you know, random jobs like Chipotle and like teaching self-defense and whatever, I booked my first. It was like my first audition, big audition, and I booked the lead in a TV show where I played an MMA fighter. Yeah. And it was this surreal experience because I had come from being an extra in a show where it's like 500 extras and we're like freezing, kind of sharing the heaters.
Yeah.
It's like we're like, you know, we're just like trying to stay warm and we're just like, and there was like 500 extras, you know, cheering for me, and I was in the center of an octagon, and it was like my episode, and the director Tate Taylor was there in the audience, and I just had this moment where I couldn't contain like my emotions because I was like, this is so surreal that I'm standing here and there's 500 extras looking at me and I'm about to do a scene. There's like 3 cameras looking at me and I have a whole fight choreography and it's my episode. I had to get out of the cage and thank Tate Taylor because he was, you know, the first person to really give me a shot like that.
I remember me and you were sitting, it was at lunchtime, and sometimes I get a little emotional, but we share stuff because I give you vulnerable, please show, this is what happened to me, this is how it affected me, this is how I move forward from it. Sometimes it never goes away, and you ask these questions, and you want to know these questions, but also, in return, I have to know about you. Really? Like when you told me about your mother, And you know what I mean? She basically drove you to Hollywood, or she got you on a. How did that go? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah,
I loved it.
I was going through a really hard time in Guatemala. I was 18, and you know, just things weren't going well. I was emotionally not okay and mentally not okay. And I had all these different plans that I didn't really necessarily want to do. I was supposed to go to the army, and I told my mom, I was like, "Ma, I don't know what I need to do in my life, but I don't want to go, and I don't know what to do. I feel stuck." And we were like going to on the way to like the DMV in Guatemala to like renew the license, and we're just in a traffic light, and she was like just thinking, and she just blurted out. She was like, I mean, you like movies? We always watch movies, so why don't you just do that? And I was like, what? Like, I was just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you? Because in Guatemala at that time, especially, there was no industry of like film industry, at least that I knew of. Like, it wasn't even about a big dream. It was just non-existent.
Wow.
A big dream would have been like playing with Barcelona or like in Real Madrid. That's a big dream.
Soccer.
A soccer, you know, but film is literally another dimension. It's not talked about. You just go see these stories in this TV box, and you just think you don't even know how it's made. You know what I mean? At least at that time. And she just opened my mind to like, oh, this possibility that you can go and be an actor. And all of a sudden I started realizing how much I did love movies. And we used to be in the car with my brother going to like the lake in Guatemala, and he would like, we would pretend like I was like this robot, and he would be like, I want to watch this movie, and I would like do the whole movie for him, all the voices, the accents of each character. Let's say Lion King, the lines, even the music, and the Rafiki and all. Like, I would literally do all of them. I had like a bunch, like 5 to 6 movies memorized from top to bottom in my head, and I started realizing all these things. It was like a flash of like this excitement. It was truly just innocent excitement. And she said, look, I mean, Brad Pitt, he just like packed his bags and he went to Hollywood. He dropped out of, I think, college or something, and just went there. So just do it. And it was the excitement that just brought me. You did that.
You packed up your shit.
Yeah, she literally told me, she was like, I was like, how do we do it? She's like, you go take a one-way ticket. You don't come back until you make it, and we'll just put it on the credit card. And I was like, yeah, she was like, do it right now. Call the airline. She just pushed me. She just threw me. She was like, you do it. It's done. And I did it. It was January 1st, a red eye. It was like, I took a red eye to Los Angeles.
So you land in LA, you got a couple bags in your hand, not Prada pants like you're wearing now, but older pants, right? Yeah. Not a cool jacket. Right? No Prada back then. So you land in LA with 2 garbage bags.
Yeah.
How did you find somewhere to stay?
I was talking to people on the plane. I think a guy in the airplane told me about, there's hostels in North Hollywood. There's like a lot of places you can go and like find a room.
Oh my God.
And
this is awesome.
I took a cab to like this hostel called Chateau du Soleil. And it was like 6 roommates in one room. Like, it was like bunk beds and like one communal shower, and like
that all wanted to be actors too, or just
some filmmakers, some maybe music, mostly actors. And I'm going in with like a big luggage, and this guy comes out who is now still my best friend, and he says, hey bro, we're gonna go to an acting class, you want to come? And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I should learn how to act if I'm gonna be an actor. So we got on this like 1990 Toyota 4Runner with no like radio. It was like the cables were hanging out because there's no radio, and like I don't even know what we're just like going to this acting class, and I step into this new world where people are like doing monologues and accents and dancing and crying, and I was like in the back with like a hoodie, and I was like, what did I just get into? And I was so scared. I was like so scared until I saw someone like really place his heart on the table. It was just like so raw, and I was like, I saw something different there. It wasn't just an accent or this. It was just vulnerability, and I knew I had that.
We know you had that.
And I went to him and I said, like, I want to learn this, and the teacher, Anthony Gilardi, who's a dear person in my life still, he he was so passionate. He was this street kid, like a guy, but older guy, but he was like a street kid from Boston that was, you know, just fell into this as well. Like it was just a perfect storm of just people outcasts maybe, or like, you know, people from different. It was a very special energy in that studio.
We're all hungry.
Yeah, all hungry and all from really, I guess, tough. Most of them from very tough places, and that's where I was like, I understood that if I can understand my own pain and transcend my own pain, or at least be able to look at it in the eye, then Hollywood disappears. It doesn't exist
that's beautiful.
anymore.
Yeah, I know that. So you didn't first play Torres. That didn't happen. You were picked, I think it was season 7 or 8. I'm not sure. I could look it up.
I think 7.
And maybe it was 7. And you came on to Chicago PD. How'd you get that? Was there an agent that was involved? How did you know? Because you came in as like what they call one-off or a day player, correct?
Yeah. So that was after my first. My first like big audition was for this pilot called Filthy Rich, and I booked it. It was a series regular, so it was like I was thrown into the deep end, you know, as like a series regular. And while that pilot was being waited to get picked up, one of my other next auditions was Chicago PD guest star. And I did the audition, and I booked it. So it was like my second job ever.
Yeah. So you came in as a bad guy.
I came in as a
bad guy, and then I heard the rumors like spinning around. Like anytime Jason Begay, who plays Voight, everybody knows, he gets excited about something, you see him, and he'll start secretly walking around, and you know, what's he up to now? And then he'll come like whisper in my ear. Oh, you got to tell Chad. You got to tell. I said, I think Chad picked him. Chad Sexton, who's our directing producer, and I believe, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, because Gwen is the one who originally brought you in when they had you reread, and I'm not 1,000%, but it was Chad who said, and also Jason Begay, hey, what about Benjamin?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, that was for the second.
To become Torres.
Yeah, exactly. Which was it was just so meant to be, Lucci, because after I did that guest star, you know, I remember meeting, you know, Jason, and he was so generous with me. He's taught me about lighting. He was like, stand here, look in this eye, look into this eye. And I was just this raw actor, you know, I didn't know anything. I was just like, going with my instincts. And he said, what's your name, kid? And I told him, and he said, I'm going to remember you. And then I went on to do my life and to you know, prove myself to other, I guess, places and whatever. And then I was in Guatemala when I got a call from my agents saying that it was a straight offer. They wanted me to play Torres.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I
blew him away then.
Yeah, and I was doing a movie in Guatemala with a director from Guatemala, and so I was confused because I had done it already. So I was like, it's a different role. I don't know if they remember that.
Doing that same bad guy.
Yeah, and they said no, they know exactly who you are. And then I found out. Well, when I came, they said if you shave your head and you're in Chicago by Wednesday, the role is yours. And I came, I got there, and I shaved my head, and I did the first table read, and Jason said, I told you I was going to remember you. Yeah. And then I found out that it was Chad and Chad's wife that had seen me on a Netflix show that I had done. And they were looking.
Wife too. I didn't even know.
I think so, yeah. And they were like looking for this character Torres, and Chad said, I think I found the person. And at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, Jason said, I know who I would want. And they talked about it, and they were both talking about me.
The same person.
Yeah. So that's why it was just meant to be. It really was.
Talk about cost.
Yeah.
You know, not just cost for the show, but cost for the actor himself. You know, what they put into all of this. And I know that you went through some traumatic stuff growing up and things. And I know that we did a couple episodes that were a little too close for home. At the end of the day, how would you explain as an actor how you deal with it? Is it?
That's it. Yeah. Because, you know, it was close to home, and there was definitely triggers in my own trauma that would be sparked because of the violence in that episode, or because of the noises and the lights, which I have, unfortunately, I guess, experience in personally. And that's a beautiful question, because it's evolved. That answer has evolved for me. At the beginning, I would feel like it would cost me, when I was a beginning actor, to go to those places. And I even remember, in what I've learned, there was like, make sure you go back to Benjamin when you go back home. Like, don't bring the character home with you. What if you like to watch, a TV show like Friends, put on Friends, take a hot shower and wash off the character, put on music that you like, keep things for yourself that are yours, so that you have a separation, right?
Because that darkness will stay with you.
So for me, at that time in my life, it was a cost to do these roles. Now, I'm not saying it's not scary, because scary it is, and painful in some ways it is, but it's no longer a cost, because ever since I've been through this like journey, you know how much I meditate on set, and I'm just in silence. I've been able to kind of like obliterate my own personality of Benjamin. It's not solidified anymore, which is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever felt. So now there's no difference between Torres and Benjamin, because for me, both of them don't exist, because they're both characters. So now I don't have to go back to Benjamin, because who is Benjamin anyways? And who is Torres? They're just characters I put on. Like right now, I'm being a character, even though it seems like it's like very much, because it is.
I want to do that. I want to live outside my body.
Because like then when you go somewhere else, you go to your family, or you go to your friends, and you're a different Lucci, right? And you're a different one right now, because you're in this place, but it's still kind of like in the same personality. But the more we're able to transcend that personality, then we're just free to put on any mask we want. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, it answers the question. It's one of the producers put together a question, and it was like, so Luce, you share real stories with the writers, and some of those stories end up becoming episodes or part of episodes, and ultimately it pulls at your heart. Like it pulls at your heartstrings. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
And before I left, I let it all in. But over the last couple of years, to be honest with you, after I died, after my heart attack, and I came back, for some reason, I can't control the leak.
Wow.
So it just comes out. But then I noticed that if I talked about that story, or shared that story, because I was just in LA and told them a couple of things, that real life stuff that happened, like policemen who died or this, and this is how it really feels like. And this is what it cost you, I sobbed and I was embarrassed. There's new writers. But then the second time I told it, I didn't anymore. I released it. I burnt it,
Right, you burnt it.
Yeah,
exactly,
it's still there. But this job
is incredible.
It's therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
you could go to places that you didn't want to go to, but you're forced to go to. And at the end of the day, holy cow. And you know, me and you argue all the time. I'll be like, listen, Torres, this is what I'd go through the door. I'd do this. I'd have the guy in the ground, but you do you.
Yeah.
And you even yell. See, you're laughing. Right? What do you tell me? You could say it.
You just say the best, like the most truthful, because there's no one that has that experience in this situation that we're trying to shoot. So you give the true experience, and then you say, but you do you. Like it's like we can't argue with that truth. It's like, of course I'm gonna do that. I mean, most likely.
But a version of that. You always come up with a beautiful version, and I'm always like blown away. Like, man, I wish I did that in real life.
Well,
the kid that died or did this or that, and then you're sitting there. But it's those questions that make it so authentic and so realistic and awesome to do.
Yeah.
Like I speak of last season, it was episode 2, season 12, episode 2. Ruzek was drained.
That was another one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, that was so good. Burgess in the cafe, drained. You and this.
Yeah.
Well, why? Why? Because you're putting your whole heart into it. You know what I mean? You're asking questions. Nobody knows that. Like, okay, that outline comes out. You don't get to see it.
Yeah.
First the beat sheet, first the thought, then a beat sheet, then an outline, then boom, it's a script.
Yeah.
And then, did you get the script? Is it about me? Is it about the next guy? Like, then you figure out, it is about me, and you got all of this interest. Can you tell me anything? Sorry, I can't. But then once you get it, being one of the first ones called, Luce, does this make sense? Or can I call Gwen on this? Or what? Because you're in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I love the arguments. The arguments are great because You're not just showing up. You're not just saying lines.
I think that's what makes this show great. I truly think it's the collaboration. Even though I guess for some people sometimes it could be a little frustrating because there's more voices, there's more debate, there's more discussions. That's the beauty. That it's different points of views, strong points of views, valid points of views, kind of like talking it out with no ego or as little as possible.
As little as possible, yeah.
Because and then coming out with the truest version, the deepest truth. That's what makes this show great. Is the trust that it's a dynamic. It's not even. It's like a dynamic that has been set by Jason, by Gwen, by you. Of just no, talk to me. Like what is the concern? What's going on? What do you feel uncomfortable? Okay, he doesn't feel like he would do that. He would like that collaboration, that collaborative process is, I think,
being able to talk to visiting directors and say, no, I wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
I know it's written.
That's
all right.
Special.
We spoke earlier about your background training in, how do you say it?
Krav Maga.
I love when he says it. Israeli and martial arts, tactical shooting, and evasive driving skills. Okay, how did that help you on Chicago PD? Can you tell me?
Well, I think for number one.
Or how did it hurt you?
How did it hurt you? Yeah. Number one, I think it just because I did it for so long. It was truly the most intense time of my life, by far, from when I was 14 to when I was 18. But it was 4 years of hell. You know that it became how I walk. It became how I talk. It became everything that I do as Torres too. Like so it's beyond even the skills that I learned, evasive driving and the rubber tires melting in the ground. And if you have the window open, it's like hitting you in the face, you know what I mean? And like the gunpowder and knowing how to, the blood in the hands for racking so much. That's like the minimal part of it. It was more just like who you become as a person. So I became someone throughout that time in my life. When people are going to high school, I was going through a lot, and I was like learning Krav Maga and not sleeping and waking up at 3 a.m. and going to the darkest parts of Guatemala where you just see dogs on the street and like literally gang members everywhere. And I'm training into these places with gang members and former gang members and just people that are ready to like
kill.
I'm like a white boy in Guatemala just because of my skin tone and my color eyes and whatever. And they're happy to have you at 3 a.m. and just mess with you and stuff. So I think that just made me, I guess, the way I conduct myself in life. So
because you're street smart, you move well. Like I always say, you can't pretend how to throw a ball. You gotta know how to throw the ball. You don't know how to throw the ball.
Right.
And I remember when they put you in this fight scene, you were on the ground. They put I think it was a mattress that you beat the hell out of.
Right.
Do you remember the camera?
Oh my God.
It was where you live, where your character lives.
Yeah.
I forgot who directed it, but remember how crazy you
were?
Oh
my God. I remember looking at you and you said that was it. And then when Jason saw that episode, he because that was like my first
Primal,
episode.
You went beast.
Yeah. And that was my first an episode based on Torres. It was the first one.
Let me show you who Torres really is.
Yeah, and that's what Jason told me. It was like getting inside the trailer, and I was like excited to kind of like hear what Jason had thought, because I was still like kind of new of finding him, whatever. And he was like, that scene, that moment, that moment, that's him.
Yeah, there was a moment in one of the episodes, one of the first of Torres's episodes, where there was a guy who was sweating your family or doing something to threaten their family. And just so the audience that's listening or watching knows, there was a scene where you got him on the ground and you beat the living hell out of him.
Yeah.
And when we filmed it, we had all these special cameras set up where you weren't really beating the guy, even though I wish you would, because it'd have been neat. But you pounded the ground in your face, and the spit and the sweat, and you gave it all, and the scream that came out of you.
Yeah, like
I remember Jay-Z, our director of photography, and everybody kind of took, with the real Torres, please stand up. We were like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I transformed in that.
Yeah, because you were this quiet, beautiful soul, and then out of nowhere, this demon evolved.
Yeah, totally. That was incredible.
You seem to almost have all the training to be a real life cop. But what did you need to learn to become Officer Dante Torres? besides all that other physicality stuff? Is there anything out there? I could help you a little bit.
Yeah, please.
So, like, where you stand where there's a citizen, how you treat citizen, how you look, if your head's on a swivel, like things like that. Is there anything in your police training, I guess the question would be, besides all that other stuff, that had to turn you into a cop?
Yeah, I mean, I had none of that experience. When I talked about the experience I had in Guatemala was fighting, the aggression, the hunger, coming from that place, and the tactical shooting and the skill was, but the cop part, I had none of that.
Yeah.
I had none of that. That I learned from you.
Well,
truly.
not me. What you were,
well, yeah,
your instincts,
sure,
and the raw Torres that you were. That's why you were plucked out of the academy.
Yes.
So there was times I had to step back and say,
yeah.
I'm not messing with him.
Yeah, right.
They'd be like, Luce, you got to. I'm not turning into a cop. He's not. The best version of him is him. And I would argue that I'm not arguing, but I'd have to make a phone call and say, hey, they're really trying to switch this around. It's great that he's a square peg. It's great. He's like this unique little unicorn. You know what I mean? Like, don't mess with him.
And I appreciate you giving that to me, but you have taught me everything that I know about that world. Yeah, I mean it, Luce. I'm not gonna let you get away with that.
No, I appreciate
that. It's true, and that's also a part of the power you get. You allowed me to have was to follow my instincts. But I want to make sure that I want to make it clear that I mean, literally everything that I am as Torres is or a lot of that part that was missing. Everything of that I've learned through you, through our conversations.
Thank you.
Through your own vulnerability,
Voight
and Voight's and obviously and Gwen, but in the cop sense, it's been through.
Because we work hard.
Yeah,
we work hard.
Yeah.
There, I asked you this way. When do you feel like you unlocked or truly understood who Torres is?
Probably that night with that fight scene. That
really that quick, that soon, huh?
That was like, I think, one of the first clicks
of
turning points. And then I remember the episode with Patty that we're trying to see this dirty cop that's in the units. Like it was season 10, episode like 10 or 11, and it was me and Patty together, and I found a different level of stillness in myself and confidence in a different way.
Does your relationship with your mom in real life have an impact on how you shape Torres's relationship with his mom on the show? Which is kind of neat, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. I think there's just this bond, I grew up with a single mother, just like Torres.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a bond where you're more than just the son. You take on different roles. You're also like a best friend if it works that way, and if you're lucky, and you are sometimes kind of like a brother sister. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of growing together and you're just trying to make things work. And I think that there's some dynamic there.
That's what I was just gonna say. There's a cool dynamic.
Yeah.
Of you two being in it together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let us into the backstory. Reliving the trauma going undercover in the juvie, which is season 12, The Good Shepherd. Torn between protecting a woman he loves, betraying the team that he loves, and sleeping with Gloria. Not that I blame you about that. Gloria, his CI. His relationship as an actor, is it kind of fun having your character dramatically tortured so much? Or is it hard for you?
I love it.
You love it. You like getting tortured.
I love feeling so intensely. I've always been that way. I've always wanted to go deeper in life. That's literally what drives me. That's like I just always wanted to live a life of intensity, and it aligns with, I guess, my type of, acting, or the type of roles that I've gotten, and it doesn't mean it's easy, and it doesn't mean it's just simple. I go through a roller coaster. I feel so alive, man. Like when I have an episode like that, because I know how deep I've gone. I know there's no bullshit. I know that there's no. I know the depths that I've gone. even just going to a grocery store and picking up a banana is different. I walk in like I'm so alive. I can't even explain it better than that. Like no matter what I do outside of their job, if I'm driving a car, if I'm going to the gym, the days or the weeks that I'm in that intensity and that energy, it's a different life.
It's
for
high.
me.
You're high. It's
You're high. You're grounded. You're transcending. You know, it's the most beautiful thing. That's what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to this. I mean, I've told it to Jason. Like throughout these past seasons, I've realized that I want to do this for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life. Chicago PD can be gritty and dark. What are the most fun scenes for you to play as Torres?
Yeah, I mean, Torres hasn't had that many like emotionally light moments, but it's fun for me to play the tough moments. So I guess in that sense, everything, because he's always going through so much.
Yeah.
But also, I guess what stands out is, you know, I'm always excited to do fight scenes because I love them, and any intense scene, I guess. I love doing the episodes with Yara and
Yara
with Gloria.
was so great.
Yeah, and with Mia, like the love interests that I've had on this show. That's kind of minimizing even. They're bigger than that, but like those moments with those storylines have actually been really fun because they go so deep. They're really well. They've been really well done, and they've been beyond just like a love story. There's just been so many complexities and two amazing actresses that I've been so fortunate to work with. Truly, they're amazing. Both of them have been so deep that they like make me have to go deeper because they're so real, you know?
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah.
That one of the things, like you had Gloria, you had this problem, you had that problem. One of the problems is your faith, you know, in God. And I remember that's pretty scary. Like
righteousness,
right?
thing,
Questioning,
right?
is God
Questioning.
here?
Yeah. Oh,
how is God letting this happen?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
totally.
I don't know if we were able to last season get into as much as that we could, partially because you got hurt or whatever it was.
Right, which I think worked in our advantage because I think now it can be extended and really written, you know, with time.
Properly. With a cool
without
arc.
without a deadline of like we're running out of episodes for the season. You know what I mean? Like we're able. I mean, Gwen told me that it's like in a way it's like a blessing in disguise because now we get to really see it because we don't. This is an arc that we don't want to just skip over. It's a really intense thing, and it's an amazing character that Gwen has written. Like Torres, just objectively seeing the page of this character is so deep, and it's all worked and it's all been so well done that I think it deserves more time to kind of like.
We're 10 feet down the well. And
Yeah. Let's go all the way.
She when I was in LA, it came up, and I was excited to be able that. Okay, we didn't cheat on that.
Right.
Like we're not skipping that.
Right.
Here's a cool question: what's your favorite thing that happens behind the scenes that fans wouldn't know about?
I mean,
and I'm not talking about when they bring you egg salad.
I truly think a big part of that is like our conversations.
The Voight stuff. Yeah, ours, the Voight. Yeah, I know.
Your conversations, my conversations with Voight. Jason has been such a generous person with me and such an incredible, like, you know, friend and like just mentor. I've learned so much from him, and he's so real. He's so present that it's intimidating in a good way. Like
not just to you,
to everyone,
and the director. When you say something and he knows that's not the story.
He's just so present that it really like. I love that energy, even when it's a nervousness or an of energy before you're doing scenes with him and you're sharing time with him. You know, it's just for me, it's like it really makes me go even deeper. And then the conversations that I have with you and with Victor and with people on the crew.
Can you imagine if they videotaped one of those? I don't know if they could.
Yeah, I don't know if they could. They're so honest and they're so vulnerable. Yeah, they're too honest.
And they're we call them walkaways.
Yeah.
Someone will say, Luce, I know when me and you are talking and we're across the street.
Yeah.
And they're about to shoot. there's techniques that they know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's certain wiggle of the ear. Like they know, like if we're in it, I can't come out of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you say, no, cameras aren't going up. We don't have this.
Right.
You know, and they respect that, and they'll find.
So that's
is behind the scenes. You're right.
It's exciting.
I've asked like 5 people that all 4 of the rest of them were dummies. I want to put that on record. That was probably one of the best things.
It's just like true. That's actually. I think I live for those moments where because I discover of myself, I discover of the character, I get to go deeper with human beings. You know, that's really what the glue for me of everything is being able to create that. You know, it's like I never know. I've always been, you know, I think there's actors that plan out a lot and it works for them. I don't do that. Like for me, it's like I like to not know and to live it and to see what happens. For me, that's the most beautiful thing. So like those conversations, that's where I find I'm like, ooh, this clicked. Okay.
You know when it clicks.
I know when it clicks.
You know that energy that flies through the set when it clicks.
Yeah.
Burgess like is always on me, like in a good way. She teaches me every day. I love her. Marina. And I told Marina, like, a couple times she did something recently, and it was the diner one that just keeps popping in my head, and the whole set got quiet. I say you could hear a mouse shit on tissue. Like, it just, oh, my God. And you take a breath, and you put it in for a minute, and the only thing you'd hear is moving on.
Yeah.
You ain't getting better than this.
Yeah, and
you know it.
Yeah,
you know it when you walk out of there and
when you walk out like that. Because at first I would walk out and like kind of be like, and I still do it. I could have done it better. I could have done. But Jason said that to me at the beginning of the first season. He said, "Don't get caught up with that. Like you're not supposed to necessarily feel like you need to try again. Sometimes you just know it's right. And that's it. That's as simple as it gets. And I've tried to own that more and more." Of like, I guess I can go deeper and whatever, but like sometimes you just know that was true.
When you just got it.
And you can own it. You don't have to be this like, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know. No, that was fucking, like, I'm sorry, I can't say fucking.
They know how to take the fuck
That
out.
was like sometimes I've learned throughout this process, my process in my experience as an actor and my process in my meditation, to be able to, which I think is one of the most important skills, is to be able to look at yourself objectively. When you watch an episode, when you watch yourself and be like, I'm able to see, that sucked. I found that I could have done better. And sometimes see a scene, I was like, that was beautiful. And like, give yourself that power.
Yourself that credit.
That was great. That was incredible.
A lot of people
don't. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't. And I think it's very important to like be able to see yourself objectively. It changes everything, because then you can see outside of your own self and your own ego and tweak things and understand that this is not the way to do this and this is the way to do that. And even just camera, everything just starts changing when you're able to see yourself objectively. Like,
my father had a great saying for me one time. He says, you know, God made the body perfect. It's hard to kick yourself in the ass, and it's hard to pat yourself on the back.
Right. Yeah.
It really is.
And it's harder to pat yourself on the back sometimes.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah, because
we really do. Kick yourself in the ass, even though you know that God McGaw and you're wearing your Prada pants. You're still. I'd like to see you kick yourself in the ass. Can we move the mic? We need a technical over here. All right. What's a moment last season where the people in production, either the designers, the special effects, stunts, anybody, pulled off something that was so really impressive to you? Like, fill in the fans for some of the coolest behind-the-scenes magic you've seen.
Oh, my God. I mean...
I know one.
You know one?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think. It's just so many. Like, it's like a lot of the show is that.
Yeah.
You know, so we owe it to them. I actually haven't... I don't know if I've ever seen, like, a car accident. I've never been... Well, have I been to... Like, at the moment that a car, like, flips or something, I've never seen anything like that I've never been on set for that, but that sounds
You rolled up on one that smashed under the all-train.
Yeah. But just stunts that are... That was the question, right? About stunts?
Yeah, like
or
anybody
else?
who... Like if it's Merlin, who you walked on a set and you're like, oh my God, this looks so real.
Oh my
or
God.
Or if special effects had something that blew up. Or if makeup blew you away. Or the costume that you were wearing was so right.
Oh my God.
You know, whatever it may be.
It's hard
I'll
to
tell you one,
please
and then you jump in.
Yeah.
Special effects, Mr. Green. When you did your rain episode.
Oh my, yes. Yeah, that
The
was
equipment,
they created a world there.
He created a world.
Yeah.
Me and you were sitting there.
Yeah.
And you were with Cook, and you had on these aluminum suits.
Yeah. So
and you
cold,
were freezing
man.
your ass off.
Freezing.
And you showed up one day in a wetsuit.
Tired.
I was in a wetsuit, and they put a bigger uniform on you.
And it was
do
hot.
I look funny? No, if you're playing the Michelin, man.
And that day was hot.
You
I was
look
like,
so stupid.
Yeah,
And I told you look stupid.
I look so. That was. I've been so fortunate to have really special episodes like that. Like, because I remember people saying that hasn't happened.
Never
like that.
happened.
You know, like
Gwen thought it was a great idea. Let's have it rain the whole time.
it was a character of its own. Just like Chicago is a character on the show.
Yeah.
The city of Chicago is a character.
Right.
The rain in that episode is a character.
I talked to Leroyce in one of the podcasts that are hopefully came out pretty good. I don't know. And because it was raining a lot in Harvey. So his whole town got to come out.
Right.
And people never seen like these high lifts and these machines.
Crazy.
And the water that was turned on and the rain was going. Remember, you had to keep getting yourself wet?
Yeah.
And then other people had it? To me, that was one.
That was, yeah.
No judgment here. No judgment. Is there something you'd secretly love to happen to Torres, even if you know that the writers couldn't or wouldn't do it, or something you always secretly wanted to try as an actor? You're writing your own script right now.
Okay, well, I have had these, because he's such a real, grounded, kind of troubled character and stuff, I have always wondered how he would be if his ego kicks in and starts like, I don't know, just like acting out of character and just like an arrogance. Like, and I don't think maybe it fits. Actually, it does fit in the world, because once someone is going through an existential crisis, you don't know
who you're gonna
what
get.
they're gonna get. We don't know who you're gonna get. But it's not like I'm necessarily, asking for that, craving. I'm ready for anything. But I've always just been curious how that would
play it.
feel in my body. How that would feel in my body. How would he imagine? Like, isn't that so out of?
I just don't see him.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's interesting, because again, those are the most beautiful moments. Is when a character goes out of character. Because those out of character moments in our lives are the moments we talk about either transcending or falling on our face or learning the hard way.
My sons would say, you don't want to see him when he's mad. That's another character that I hold deep inside.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You try to control what they call the snap or the policing in me.
Yeah.
And then if something goes bad, like I train you, auditorial disclosure, no tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You keep it and you move in and you see your face lock into somebody. But that demon, you don't.
Right. Like, could you imagine there's just so much struggle of religion and Catholicism and in his own way and the struggle between right and wrong and this kind of like, thing he's struggling with. Imagine just seeing him like go the other way and say,
I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care.
Need nobody.
Get drugs, does whatever, like just goes into that other side, but without saying, "Oh, I'm doing wrong," but just like for a moment, like that would be very interesting. It would be like completely unexpected.
Wow. How much time? Here's a crazy, stupid question, but you're gonna love it. How much time does it take to apply your tattoos?
Depends on the day, I guess. But
what we're gonna see.
What we're gonna see. But when it's like a full body, thing, it could be an hour and a half, sometimes more. I think.
They don't bother you at all, do they?
Oh my God! Can we talk about that?
I think no. She said no.
Okay.
Moving on.
A little itchy.
Yeah. I like when sometimes they leave them off on accident. You see the back of your neck. Yeah. Doris has these amazing tattoos that were created, but they're all over your back, arms, everything. Right?
Yeah.
And they put you in a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
So winter is fun. We don't have to do all of it.
Winter is fun in that sense, for sure.
Here's a segment called Last Season and Looking Ahead. Can you describe your perfect life partner for Torres?
Wow. I think it would be someone that understands and allows him to go out of character, that allows him to take it easy on himself. I think he needs someone to be able to give him that permission. So
do you. and all the other U's.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to or hoping for Torres and the rest of the PD characters next season?
Just more raw stories, more challenges. I can't wait to go deeper into this arc that Torres is going through. And like I said, that's what keeps me like so alive. And I can't wait to feel scared. And I want to feel scared. I don't want to feel comfortable. I don't want to feel, predictable. I want to just, leap into the unknown.
Well, I mean, it's kind of awesome because in the real world, not the real world, but our unit got disbanded. Our unit, intelligence, got disbanded. It's taken off.
Right.
They tore apart our office.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
Like, this is sacred ground for us.
Yeah.
With not having intelligence in Chicago, who works on all these highline cases and recovers guns and saves lives, there's like fingers pointed at you. And coming back next season,
For sure, yeah.
that's something you have to think of, which I love. Okay, Benjamin, it's time for our lightning round of rapid fire. Not fire. This should be called the Rapid PD. Right? Okay, Benjamin, it's time for Rapid PD questions.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you need to answer them quickly, the best you can.
Okay.
I'm looking for spontaneous utterances.
Okay,
all right?
All right.
Benjamin, if you could bring any character from any Wolf Entertainment show, I'm talking Law and Order, SVU, FBI, or any one of our other Chicago shows, on to Chicago PD, who would you choose to bring on and why?
I'd bring Olinsky back because I've heard so much about him. Like, I would like to see him work and like see his dynamic because he's probably the character that I hear the most about.
Okay, so you floored me twice now with your answers. When he speaks of Olinsky, that's Alvin Olinsky, who was one of our former characters in the first maybe 6 seasons of Chicago PD. We miss him dearly. All right, Benjamin, here we go. Which PD character would you want to be at your side or holding your 6 when you're about to breach through a bad guy's door?
Jesse.
You trust Jesse the most?
Yeah, Halstead.
Good. I'm going to tell everybody I'm calling Atwater after this right now. Yeah, Jesse would be your man, right?
I mean, we came up to it too. You know what?
Jesse Lee Hall, also known as Officer Halstead. There we go. Benjamin, which PD character would you most want to go on vacation with and why?
Probably Atwater.
I'm getting rid of him now. That's Leroyce Hawkins. Plays Kevin Atwater. Why? Why him?
He just seems like fun.
He'll eat all your food. You ever go to lunch with him? He's Mr. Pickers. I can't even tell my 4 a.m. pancake story because some shit jumped off. But that's a whole different. So you'd want to go with him? Why? Because he's just fun?
Yeah, he just seems like Atwater's cool, you know?
Yeah, he is a good guy.
Yeah.
Jesse was boring. He was like Mr. Rogers. Jesse, who played Halstead. Ruzick could be a good
Oh,
time.
Ruzick. Actually,
As a
I don't know
little
if I take it back. It's tie. It's a tie.
You could play Dungeons and Dragons with him. Like, people don't know that.
Oh,
he's that guy. Benjamin, if you could pick one castmate to throw into the interrogation room, sweat him a little bit, and ask them a burning question that you always wanted to know the answer to, who would you pick to throw into the interrogation room, and what would that question be?
Oh, my God. That's so tough, man. For some reason, it's Voight. I don't know exactly what I would ask him, but he's just so intriguing and he's so deep. Like, I would like to maybe ask him what he's afraid of.
Oh, that's good.
Or what moves him. I don't know why he is the way he is, I guess.
Benjamin, do you feel like you're becoming serious competition for Leroyce for the Sexiest Cop Award next year? And what will it take to get you there?
I think Leroy should watch out for this season because I'm going to bring some fire.
All right. So this is the point where you can ask me a question, but I'm not going to allow you to because we're out of time. So I just want to say this is one of many Chicago One podcasts. We talked earlier about our family and how nice it is to be able to look into our kitchen, our home. And I can't thank you enough for coming down. I really mean it. I mean, I love you, and you know I love you. And we've cried, we've laughed, we fought, we've argued, we've wrestled. You are so much fun on set, and you bring so much life. And you didn't have to do this. Like, this is your time off.
No,
I really, really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to next year. You know,
I'm looking forward to it too.
The next season.
I love you, man, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited about everything we're creating together. Truly.
And for the people that are just listening, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. For the people that are watching, mostly this is for. He will cut his hair. We're going to get rid of that.
Maybe. Are we?
You're going to try to talk her into not doing it.
Well,
right?
because at the end of the season, we ended up kind of like longer hair.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Officer Gladiator will be back. Season 13. Thank you.
Gladiator.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Be sure to like and subscribe to the official One Chicago YouTube page.